this video, we're going to work through the self-check for the cross-referencing so that you will hopefully understand how these exercises will be done in the future. So let's go ahead and open the self-check. And this one is a little different from the ones that we've had for rules 1 through 4. Let's go ahead and open it. And what you'll have here are 10 filing segments that we're going to use drag and drop to put the indexing units in the correct order. Once we've done that, in step 11, we're going to decide which of these filing segments require a cross-reference, and we're actually going to cross-reference them. So let's go ahead and get started with number 1. The filing segment is WKKP radio station, so the key unit will be WKKP, radio will be 2, and station will be 3. So we move to the next question, and they're going to require you to click on next, and they just tell you that once you leave this step, you will not be permitted to edit it. So be sure that you have it like you want it before you go to the next step. The next segment is IBM. Now IBM is the filing segment, but they're also known by International Business Machines. When you see a name in parentheses beside the original filing segment, that means that this is an alternate name that this business or individual goes by. So IBM is the filing segment that we're working with now, and that's only one, so it's the key unit. Number 3 is Sedaris and Shattuck Company. So Sedaris is going to be first, and would be second, Shattuck would be third, and Company would be fourth. Number 4 is Platica and Miller Investment Firm. So Platica would be first, and Miller Investment, and I move over enough to see the next one, Firm. Number 5 is Joan Childress Edwards. Now notice here that we have a hyphenated name, so that tells us that we're going to put the maiden name and the married name together, so they become one unit, Childress Edwards, Joan. Number 6 is the Riverside Terrace. Now remember, the goes at the end whenever it's a part of the filing segment, or it's the first word in the filing segment. So we move it to the end, Riverside Terrace, the. Number 7 is Akio Saga. So we're assuming that Saga is the last name and Akio is the first name. Number 8 is Maruka's Diner. So Maruka, key unit, Diner, second unit. Number 9, Smith, Childers, and Jones Incorporated. So Smith would be first, and then Childers, and Jones. And I scroll over so that I can put the last unit, which is Incorporated. And finally, number 10, BBCC. stands for Big Bend Community College. So that's the letters for Big Bend Community College. So someone may also look for it under Big Bend Community College. So here we have only one key unit. Now, we can check our work, and if you don't want to check your work, pretty certain that you have them correct. Now we go to step 11, and in step 11, this is where we're going to decide which filing segments need to be cross-referenced, and we're actually going to cross-reference them. So be sure that you read your instructions for each of the filing segments, indicate in the table whether a cross-reference is needed, yes or no. Then scroll down to the blank rows at the bottom of a table and fill in the necessary cross-reference, starting with the first blank row on the table. For each cross-reference in the far left column of the table, fill in the original filing segment number followed by an X. For example, a cross-reference for filing segment A would be labeled AX. Be sure that the X is all caps. Then fill in the filing segment in key units. Then for the cross-reference, fill in the cross-reference note C, or C also, in the column on the far right of the table. See the example filing segment and scroll down to see its corresponding cross-reference example. So they've done an example for you. The filing segment is Laundry and Mature Meats. Yes, because it has two partners, so someone could look for it under Mature. So you put yes here. They have put the example, so this is A, so it will be AX, and you put it the way that it may alternately be asked for or looked for, Mature and Lundy. You index the alternate name, in this case, Mature and Lundy, and tell them to see Lundy and Mature Meats, because that's where the original filing segment or the original record is filed. And be sure that your C or C alsos are going to be in all capital letters. Okay, so let's begin to look at the filing segments and determine what needs to be cross-referenced. So the first A was just an example. Our first is WKKP radio station. Does not need a cross-reference. B is IBM, also known as International Business Machines. Now the original record is going to be stored under IBM. This is what I would index and code. But someone might also look for it under International Business Machines. So B does need a cross-reference. So I put B and a capital X to show that this is a cross-reference. And I'm going to index the alternate name, International Business Machines. Now you'll have, in most cases, more columns than you need. When I get to my cross-reference column, I put C in all capital letters, and in this case IBM is in all caps because the company name is in all caps, but the filing segment name that you're cross-referencing will usually not be in all capital letters. Okay, let's go back to our list. So I put a Y here to show that this one needs to be cross-referenced. Sedaris and Shattuck needs to be cross-referenced because someone may look for it under Shattuck instead of Sedaris. So this is C. C needs a cross-reference, so I put CX, and I put the alternate name, which in this case someone may look for the second partner first. So Shattuck and Sedaris Company, I'm going to index the cross-reference name. And I'm going to refer them to where the original record is filed. Sedaris and Shattuck. Okay. So this one needs to be cross-referenced. Platica and Miller Investment Firm. This one needs to be cross-referenced because someone might look for it under Miller and Platica. So this is D. Yes, we need to cross-reference it. So I put D I index the alternate name, Miller and Patika Investment Firm, and we're going to see Patika and Miller Investment Firm. Okay, the next one is Joan Childress Edwards. Now, that hyphen word there, Childress would be considered the middle name, but because the hyphen is there, we know that it would be Childress Edwards Joan. So, in case someone doesn't know she's hyphenated her name, it would be, or they may ask for it or look for it under Edwards. So, this one needs to be cross-referenced. So, EX, if you're looking for Edwards, Joan Childress, I'm going to tell you to see Childress Edwards Joan. Okay, let's continue. And yes, this one needs a cross-reference. The Riverdale Terrace or Riverside Terrace, no cross-reference needed. Now, Akigo Saga is a foreign name or an unusual name, so someone may ask for it in this order rather than the traditional last name, first name. So yes, I would cross-reference this one, and it is G. So I would say if you're looking for Akigo Saga, you will see it by last name first, Saga Akigo. Okay, Maruka's Diner needs no cross-reference. Smith, Childers, and Jones, Inc. This one does need a cross-reference. As a matter of fact, it needs two. Someone may look for it under Childers, so first you would move Smith to the end. Childers, Jones, and Smith, Inc. Someone may look for it under Jones, so you'd move Jones to the beginning, Jones, Smith, and Childers, Inc. That way we have cross-reference for every alternate order in which they may look for the partners. Now, if there were 4 partners, you would do the same thing. You would change the order until you had accommodated every order in which they could look for the record. So this is IX. So first, we're going to do Childers. So here we're going to, first of all, do Childers, Jones, and Smith, Inc., and we index it. And we say that you're going to see the original order, Smith, Childers, and Jones. Okay, and we need to do a second one, still IX, and this will be Jones, Smith, and Childers, Inc. And again, you'll tell them to see the original segment. Okay. So that takes care of all of the orders in which they could ask for it. They could ask for Childers, Jones, and Smith, or they could ask for Jones, Smith, and Childers. Now the last one, BBCC, stands for Big Bend Community College. So yes, I need a cross-reference, because if someone were to ask for it or look for it under Big Bend Community College, and I index it that way, you would tell them to see BBCC. Okay, so these are all of the ones that require a cross-reference. So now we're going to check my work to see how many I misspelled. Okay, so I only have one, and I see what happened here. I left out the E in investment. And this is the correct way to cross-reference. So what I need to emphasize is when you're cross-referencing, you're going to put the letter and an X, and you're going to cross-reference under, or you're going to index the cross-reference filing segment. So the original is going to be filed under IBM, but if someone looks for it under International Business Machines, and that's the one that you're actually going to index, then you tell them to see IBM. Now, hopefully this will help you as you work through your exercises for Chapter 3. Now finally, you have one last self-check, and that's for all of the rules together. So this one will have filing segments that covers all of the rules. Be sure that you read your instructions carefully, because first of all you're going to index and code the names, and then you're going to compare the key units and determine the order. So order is going here. Okay. So there are 10 filing segments. You're not going to be cross-referencing doing this self-check. You're just reviewing all of the rules.